What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be discussing how you can create your own AI or create your own program for trading, whether it trades for you or makes callouts. I'm just going to be discussing how you can go about this, the process I would do and the process I did go through to create my own program, and how I was able to create a successful AI program that is able to generate profitable callouts. Okay, so the first step for creating any program is figuring out what language you want to use. Ideally, you would use Python. Python has an extensive library and it's the preferred language for machine learning, and it's also the preferred language for data analysis. Data analysis is very important for trading, and especially for programs that are analyzing a bunch of incoming data from multiple APIs at the same time and running a bunch of different side tasks at the same time. You want to have a program which has the ability to handle all of them seamlessly and has libraries to support all of them. If you don't know Python and you know another language such as C or Java, this works as well, but I doubt that you don't know Python if you know C and Java already. Python is usually a beginner language that you learn, which is a good thing because that means the beginners should hypothetically be able to create their own program. Now, before creating your own program, you want to have some sort of strategy. So when it comes to my strategy for trading, I have hedge fund experience, so I wanted to implement hedge fund experience into AI and machine learning because I am a computer science and business analytics student right now. So I have coding background, hedge fund background, and data analysis background. I want to combine all three of them and create a program that can create callouts based on my hedge fund trading experience. And from what I learned from hedge funds is, to keep it simple, hedge funds trade very simple on price, right? Price is very important, price and volume. Volume is mainly for retail traders to spot hedge fund traders, and you spot volume bursts to enter into trades. Anyways, we're not going into that detail right now. This is more about how to create your AI. The point is you want to have some sort of strategy that you have and whatever your expertise is in. So let's say you're an ICT trader, whatever concepts you're very familiar with, make sure you have the ability to code them in and combine them with AI so the AI can analyze it with the knowledge you provide it with, right? Because you need to provide it with some sort of parameters to look at the market. I provide my AI with a bunch of parameters to look at the market with and continuously analyze a list of stocks I give it 24/7 and make sure it can generate proper trade ideas without me having to scour the markets all the time. The point of an AI or a point of a program is so you don't have to look at the markets all the time. It should be able to give you a call out and you can buy whatever option it tells you, or by the call out it tells you, the stock or the futures, whatever you're coding for, or even FX, right? Whatever you're coding for, it should be able to tell you what to buy or even buy it for you. Now, caution for people who are coding something that they want to directly buy for them on the behalf of themselves. Personally, I don't have my AI buy anything for me because there's the risk of any program, any AI, even the best coders, even hedge fund coders, this always happens where there can be one small bug and your whole portfolio can deplete. And I'm not in a situation where I want my whole portfolio to just disappear over one small malfunction one day. One thing goes wrong, one thing trips up, now my whole portfolio is gone, right? So I want to be there. I want to be the step in between the AI's call out and then the actual purchase of whatever the AI told me to buy. I like having that control where the AI says, hey, you should look at buying this call out, and then I look at it and I'm like, okay, that's a good idea, but let me modify this, or let me enter at a different time. There's a lot of things you can look at. For example, with my AI, it generates a strike price, an expiration, and a call or a put, right? The direction. I could look at it and be like, okay, so I have Tesla open here. My AI made a call out for Tesla at 400, but I feel like Tesla's gonna have a bigger jump because I noticed there's a big bull flag forming. Maybe I want a 420 call instead, right? I want a bigger exposure to a bigger upside movement. So what I could do is, instead of buying a 400 strike price, I could do a 420 strike price. You can modify your option. When your AI gives you a call out, you don't have to take that exact call out. You can modify it and play around with it a little bit. You can buy a expiration that's further out if you're not so confident, right? Or you can just ignore the call out completely if it's not following your bias. That's why I recommend you as a trader to be that step in between the AI and then the actual trade itself. That gives kind of like a 2FA 2-way authentication for your trades that gives the AI's call out and then your own bias on it. So that's like a double combo, and it gives all your trades a higher probability of being correct, if you understand what I'm trying to say here. Anyways, that's the step of implementing your strategy, right? So you want to make sure you implement it properly. You implement what you want the AI to do, and the AI looks at the market differently than we do. So the AI doesn't look at charts like this. They don't see like these little charts here. What it sees is a bunch of numbers, bunch of data coming in, a bunch of buys coming in, a bunch of sells coming in, a bunch of orders coming in, pending orders. There will be sell orders filling up right here, pending orders here, pending orders there, orders filled here, a bunch of orders enter here, canceled orders. That's what it sees, right? So you have to understand what the AI and what the program's looking at, and you want to code it from that perspective. That's how I coded mine. And I attempted to code it the way I look at the market, but from the perspective of a computer. And I think I did that pretty well, because going back to the Tesla trade, I was actually looking at Tesla, and before my AI even made a call out, I actually had this flag drawn out here, which is funny. I was looking at entering this, and my AI made the call out, which gave me that double bias, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. So I entered here, and look at this perfect setup right here. The AI caught this without even seeing a flag. The AI can see things that are going on without necessarily seeing them. It sees it with data. And that brings us into our third step, which is backtesting. And for backtesting, this is a very important step. You have to make sure that in the past, your AI works, your program works. This doesn't necessarily mean that your AI will work in the future, but you just have to make sure it works in the past first. That's your first stepping stone to creating a profitable AI. You have to make sure it was profitable in the past. So make sure you test it. I go as far as testing it for the last 10 years, but that's because I have a very, very powerful PC and server. You might not be able to do that as easily, but I have a dual RTX 4090 system sitting over here. It has 2 CPUs in it. It has 256 gigabytes of RAM. It's fully loaded. This is like a server type of PC here, and this can handle that type of backtesting. That's why I was able to do this. But at least I would say maybe a year of backtesting is important just to make sure that it's profitable. After you complete your backtest and your AI is profitable, you move on to the next step. The next step is to test your strategy. So this is forward testing. So you're actively testing your strategy. So you need to test this for minimum a week, but ideally 2 weeks, 3 weeks, up to a month. You want to make sure your AI is profitable. It can generate profitable trades. And this is the area where it's like, okay, you start messing around with parameters. You're like, okay, it generates a buy here, but do you buy immediately or do you wait for the buy? And then you adjust your parameters. You adjust your risk settings on your AI. Maybe your AI is getting too excited. Maybe as soon as it sees a volume, it gets tripped up and it enters too early. There's a lot of things that can happen with data, right? There could be a data fluctuation. We discussed some of the important stuff, and now we have to discuss how much does this cost. Now, how much is it going to cost you to run your AI? We're assuming you're a profitable trader, and if you're a profitable trader, the cost shouldn't be too much for you, because I assume if you're coding your strategy into an AI, you are already making good money and you can afford to invest some of your capital back into coding your own program. I'm going to run you through my personal costs and what your costs may look like. Okay, so your API costs could vary. My API costs are $5,000 a month, give or take. I do have, I believe, about maybe $1,000 a month also from OpenAI, but I'm not really counting that in here because it's not as important. It's just like a little text analysis that I do for free in my Discord channel. But the API costs are around $2,500 to $5,000 a month. That's because data is expensive, especially real-time data. This is an example. I do believe there's other brokers like data brokers, but this is the one I use. So I pay for stocks, options, and indices. The reason I pay $5,000 is I actually contacted them for a deal, a package, because I don't use all these features that they offer for all of this. I don't use all their features. I just want some specific features from here. So I made a deal with them for all 3 of them for $5,000. One of the most important things you're going to need is real-time data, but not just real-time data. You're going to need unlimited API calls, plus you're going to need real-time streaming for options, and you're going to need, I believe for indices, there's something called OHC. I don't know if it's listed here. I don't see it, but it's the open, high, low, close or something like that. But you're going to need that because it shows you the open, high, low, close for every single bar. And you're going to need that for your AI if you're coding one for futures. The second cost would be server hosting. This depends. I just have the system up here. It's probably like on the low end, maybe $2,000. This is probably like a mid-range PC. Mine was probably closer to, I built mine, so mine was probably closer to 10,000. Electricity costs is not as bad compared to the other monthly costs. I would just toss it in there at maybe a couple $100. But you'd also need a dedicated PC. Aside from your server, you need a dedicated PC to manage the server. And I would say at minimum, you're looking to spend $2,000 for that PC, just because you need a PC that can handle that server. This PC, you can build it, whatever, it doesn't really matter. That's not too important. And I think that will do it for all the costs, unless you are trying to have your AI trade for you. In that case, you might need to make a deal with some type of broker, but I feel like you can do it with most brokers, or not most brokers. A lot of brokers offer APIs, so you can, that's the easy part though. The easiest part is making your AI, after it generates these signals, you can just make your AI connect to your broker and automatically buy it, right? And automatically sell it. But like I mentioned, that's probably not the best idea. I just don't recommend that due to coding bugs. Just there's a lot of things that can happen. Even the best coders, anything can happen, right? It could just start spamming out orders. Even if your max risk is like 1%, it could just spam out thousands of orders within a second, and you could just completely deplete your account within like 30 seconds. PCs don't have a limit to how fast they can do something, so they can just completely wipe your account, right? They can just completely liquidate your whole account, especially for futures. So you just need to be careful. If you have any questions or if you want any help, I can't really give you coding help. You should be able to code. Coding is easy to learn and it's free on YouTube. You should be able to learn everything you can on YouTube as far as coding goes. The hardest part would probably be having a strategy. And if you're interested in my AI, I am offering free trials. So just DM me for either the Futures AI or the Options AI. The Futures AI is currently only available for beta testers, so you just need to be on a wait list for that. But the Options AI is available and it is very profitable right now, actually. It's doing really good and I'm actually very proud of it. It's $250 a month, and the reason it's priced at that is it's a 1/10 of what I'm paying for my API costs. So what that means is I thought I could probably get at least 10 people to buy my AI, which means I could have a free AI for myself, if you know what I'm saying. So if I sell it to 10 people and then I'm charging $250, it would be $2,500, which would pay back the cost for the AI itself at minimum, and then anything over would just be a little bit of extra income. But anyways, if you have any questions, concerns, just send me a message on Discord. If you like the video, subscribe. I might be starting an Instagram soon just for like little trading tips and tricks, but yeah, have a good one.